Hi folks, this is Tony for aminutetomidnight.com with a very short news-related video update. We're seeing major overtures and moves towards the creation of a one-world religion. And Pope Francis met again his friend, Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, and the purpose, a discussion of human brotherhood for world peace and common living. On the morning of the 15th of November 2019, Pope Francis received an audience. The Grand Imam Ahmed Al-Tayyib, Sheikh of Al-Azhar, accompanied by the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and the Ambassador of the Republic of Egypt to the Holy See, and some other people as well. They were meeting to put into place the initiatives by the Higher Committee for achieving the goals of the document on human fraternity during the months since its foundation back in February. Pope Francis welcomed the Grand Imam, describing the relationship between them as sincere brotherhood. For his part, the Grand Imam expressed his happiness to meet Pope Francis again and pointed out that the document of Brotherhood of Humanity has become the focus of attention of the Arab and Islamic region.
The president of the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue, Cardinal Ayuso Guijot, accompanied the Imam and his delegation to the meeting with Pope Francis. They are members of the Higher Committee of Human Fraternity that work in compliance with the document on human fraternity the Imam and the Pope signed together in February in Abu Dhabi.
During the meeting, they presented the Pope the project for the House of Abraham, inaugurated in New York in September.
Pope Francis was presented with the Abrahamic Family House project that would build a large complex for the three Abrahamic religions in Abu Dhabi. It includes 2 museums and 3 buildings, a mosque, a synagogue, and a church dedicated to St. Francis of Assisi. The Pope listened intently to the explanations about the macro complex.
What is being talked about there is the facility known as the Abrahamic Family House, which will be located at Saadiyat Island in the United Arab Emirates capital city, right next to the new Louvre, Abu Dhabi, according to Newsweek this is. The initiative follows Pope Francis' historic visit to the UAE in February, the first time a pontiff has visited the Arabian Peninsula. While there, he met with Ahmed Al-Tayyib, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, to discuss interfaith harmony in the Arab world and peace across the globe. The duo released a document on human fraternity for world peace and living together, which urged political leaders and influencers to work strenuously to spread the culture of tolerance and of living together in peace. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, commemorated the historic meeting by ordering the construction of a building dedicated to interfaith harmony. The new landmark will symbolize a state of coexistence and human fraternity experienced by people from various ethnicities, nationalities, and beliefs, and it's supposed to be completed by 2022. Note the use of terms like human fraternity, brotherhood, and coexistence. These are all the same terms we're seeing in moves everywhere towards what will end up being a global one-world religion. Pope Francis' version of religion has more in common with Marxism and socialism, and of course he is a big pusher of the climate change agenda, more in common with them than he does with true biblical Christianity. What most of the sheeple around the world don't understand and don't seem to see is the tapestry that's being woven that is bringing religion and government together, and climate change is the vehicle, or supposed climate change is the vehicle they're using to do this. Brandon Smith at altmarket.com has put out an article today titled "The Globalists Are Openly Admitting to Their Population Control Agenda, and That's a Bad Sign."
We declare with more than 11,000 scientist signatories from around the world, clearly and unequivocally, that our planet Earth is facing a climate emergency.
The mainstream media, which is owned by a few big corporate giants, is pushing this agenda big time. People's emotions are being manipulated along with the data that is being used to support the supposed climate change.
So what we have in this paper is a call to action. Reducing carbon dioxide emissions dramatically, stopping deforestation and planting a lot of trees, reducing meat. And finally, we talk about curbing the population explosion.
Back to Brandon Smith's article, which, by the way, is worth reading in its entirety. He says in 2019, the population agenda is being ramped into high gear and the public is being carefully conditioned over time to accept the idea that man-made climate change is real and population is the source of the problem. Recently, a group of scientists, partially funded by something called the Worthy Garden Club, claimed 11,000 signatures on a statement for the need for population reduction in the name of saving the Earth from global warming.
Greta is fantastic. She's inspiring many people around the world, and actually she inspires me, and that helped inspire this current project. We are at a social tipping point where humanity is talking enough about climate change and starting to take action that we might actually see some really positive things happening here as we move forward.
The statement cites the same long debunked IPCC and UN climate change propaganda as the reasons why the Earth is on the verge of annihilation. The fact of the matter is, climate scientists have been consistently caught red-handed manipulating their own data to show the intended outcome of global warming. They have even been caught trying to adjust their own data from 20 years ago in order to match it more closely to the rigged data they publish today. The Worthy Garden Club is a strangely sterile group, and there doesn't seem to be any list of their patrons who funds them. However, the mainstream media was quick to pick up on the statement from the 11,000 scientists and tie it to statements made by the UN's IPCC.
I want to talk another issue too. Earlier in this week, remember we had this much lauded 11,000 scientists support calls, a petition, James, for a climate emergency. Well, some very clever young person obviously has gone through all 11,000 names, and there's been some funny ones, interesting ones. You wonder how credible these 11,000 scientists are now. Mickey Mouse from the Mickey Mouse School of the Blind, Namibia is in there, and someone Araminta Aardvark, Professor of Zoology at the University of Neasden in UK. Well, Neasden doesn't even have a zoology department. So, I mean, this is laughable, isn't it? Because this ran as headline news on the ABC and elsewhere for a number of days.
Folks, we are being conned, we are being had by this supposed climate change emergency which does not exist. There is no man-made climate change, and if you doubt that, then please watch my video, Is the Climate Change Emergency a Giant Scam? Endorsed by Pope Francis and the UN, which I put out on October the 9th, and it will give you a whole heap of information to support my statement on that. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to visit our website, aminutetomidnight.com.